Hello YouTube, this is Insane Monster, and this is the beginning part of What If Asta Was Half Ghost. As you can probably tell from the thumbnail, we see Pariah Dark, which will be his father. Due to multiverse theory and all that, Pariah Dark took a bit of a different turn in the ghost zone in this universe than others. But before the what if starts, let's clear up some things up. If you remember from Danny Phantom, we've seen the box lunch ghost, child of the box ghost and the lunch lady. For how this is possible, the ghost zone has two different types of denizens in it, the natural ones and the spirits. Natural ones means that uh, are born in the ghost zone and over time gain intelligence and power from their expansive quote unquote life in the ghost zone by absorbing ecto energy. So the longer they live in the ghost zone, the more power they gain. As for the spirits, they're the souls of dead humans who have a chance of being sucked into the ghost zone when they die. Once this happens, over time, they absorb enough ecto energy to become ghosts. Similar to Amber and such from Danny Phantom, they afterwards they do have the ability to age, uh, eat, sleep, etc., even have children and such. So Asta in this will be a natural half ghost born this way. So yeah. As for what Pariah mainly does in this, I'll wait for when the what if actually starts. Also, some of you guys aren't actually subscribed to, well, a good bit of you aren't subscribed to my channel, so please do subscribe. Remember to hit the like, and also remember to set the notification bell to all, so when I put out a video, you are notified. So, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And before the what if starts, hit it. Okay, now in this universe, Pariah has worked along with Clockwork, working together to capture many entities within the ghost zone that could be considered criminals as well as ravenous monsters that have caused chaos. Of course, there are some ghosts that do just want to run wild and cause all kinds of havoc, but are kept in line by uh, uh, basically kept in line by Pariah and Clockwork. With the assistance of uh, a prison guard who actually made a sanctuary once he became an actual ghost walker. This I'm stating like this because I'm thinking he's been around for a while and his prison adjusted by different centuries and such. So yeah, as this is going on, they contain many powerful ghosts, many of which could be considered on the same power level as both Pariah and Clockwork. This is due to the fact that when a ghost has existed for so long within the ghost zone, they absorb so much ecto energy that they can't really stop to the point to where they gained the ability of being considered a god level entity or something of a equivalent to that kind of title. However, it is rare, but Pariah and Clockwork have achieved it, maintaining their mental stability after attaining this power, which is why Clockwork is the master of time, able to transport himself in any point in time, as well as to watch over the time stream. While Pariah has also uh, gained this power and maintained his mind, becoming the Ghost King and reigning in the more chaotic and destructive ghosts that have roamed the Ghost Zone. Though many have stayed out of his way, not wanting to get locked up, sealed, or anything else, living on either sanctuaries that ghosts, whenever they are able to materialize objects in the ghost zone from just living there and absorbing ecto energy, create sanctuaries, which are the floating islands in the ghost zone. Yes, those are literally created by the ghosts themselves. And if a collective of ghosts, a group of ghosts, come together onto a sanctuary, their influence on it can make it larger and somewhat more elaborate, depending on the number of individuals there, as well as what kind of people these individuals are. So, being a spirit sucked into the ghost zone could have a number of factors in this. Once everything was calm and slow, Pariah became bored, as he thought about going to the material world. Very few ghosts are able to breach through the veil on their own power to go to the material world, which is what you would consider our world as well. So, yeah, the living world. As he went over to Clockwork, telling him that he was going on a bit of a sabbatical to have a little him time. Clockwork was surprisingly okay with this. He was expecting a little bit of a more of a pushback, but was happy that he was going to be able to do this, as he cuts open a gate into the ghost zone, going through. As Clockwork then looks into a window, looking into the future, he states, Pariah, I didn't resist this, because you need to go there. You need to go there in order for the future to be saved. Not by you, by someone else. After all, if nothing is done, the world of the living will be destroyed. If that happens, so will the ghost zone. And not let that happen. But I also can't tell you. Otherwise, it will cause repercussions that will stop the progression of what needs to be done to save both the ghost zone and the living world. Please do not think less of me. I'm not telling you. Hold firm. As we see Pariah enter the living world, he transforms or shapeshifts to look human as he wanders around having some fun, enjoying himself. As he walks through a wood having a nice pleasant stroll, bumps into a woman, as neither of them expected to bump into somebody in this secluded area. Pariah got up and extended its hand to the woman, who flinched, thinking that he was going to die. He didn't. He extended her hand and he helped her up, began to talk. He was surprised that this guy didn't die, as he couldn't sense any mana coming from him. Like, for some reason could tell he was strong. They got to know each other pretty well, as she introduced herself as Licita, and he introduced himself as Pariah. as things uh, went pretty well for them, they got closer. To the point where, before anything else, Pariah took her outside and said she had to know something about him. He was unaware of what kind of thing he was going to tell her, as he said, "It's best if I show you," as he then revealed his true form, telling her what he is, who he is, and about where he came from. He wasn't really one to judge somebody on what they are, but he asked, "Are you, like, dead? But you feel so solid," poking his chest. He laughed, stating, "Yes, I technically did die a very long time ago, but I entered a place called the Ghost Zone. After a while, I absorbed enough energy to have a physical form again, living a new life. And despite what you may think, I've seen plenty of ghosts in the Ghost Zone have their own little families there. Suppose I should tell you my full name. My first name is Pariah, but my last name is Dark." She smirks, stating, "That's an odd name, but a good one." As he was surprised that she accepted him so easily, he asked, "Why? Why do you accept me so easily after knowing what I am?" He just states, "Well, I know who you are. I don't really see a problem in what you are." As she smiles, smirks, and they hug each other. Eventually, time went on, and one thing led to another, as Licita gave birth to a young boy named Asta. Pariah was proud to have a son, heir, a ghost prince. Handing him over to Licita after washing him off, she takes a look at their son with green eyes looking a lot like her. Then when he smiled, his eyes turned red, glowing. Pariah smirked, thinking, "Huh, looks like he has a little bit of me in him, doesn't he?" She smirks, stating, "I think more than you might think." As he laughs, though after about a month or two, someone came to find Pariah, a man in black armor, a fright knight, kneeling down in front of Pariah. Licita was worried and put Asta in the house before this knight could see him, as he tells Pariah what's going on. The prisoners that him and Clockwork captured broke out, and when they did, they went and unsealed all of the chaotic beings that him and Clockwork sealed. The ghost zone is ravaged with chaos, and Clockwork can't get to all of them at once. With all these criminals and these ravenous monsters loose, even the other ghosts that have kept quiet are starting to riot. It is chaos in the ghost zone. Something has to be done. Pariah clenches his fist as he goes to Licita, with the Fright Knight following, introducing his knight, as well as introducing the knight to his beloved wife. He kneels down to the woman that his king has chosen. Hearing a cry of a baby, he quickly stands up, seeing Asta walking over. He says, "My lord, Is this? Pariah said, yes, this is Asta. Asta Dark, with Asta's eyes glowing red again. The Fright Knight stated, young lord, wait, lord, you cannot bring your son to the ghost zone no matter what. Criminals, as well as any of those monsters, might try to go after him. Pariah has thought about that, as he then states, no, my son to be safe, not be captured and used. I have to leave him here. Licita was worried, asked what will happen. Pariah sighed, stating, I will come back as soon as I can, but I don't know when that is. I told you about how dangerous these things are. They are at the same level of power as I am. They could not handle the power and went mad. If I don't do anything, the harm that they cause in the ghost zone could cause reverberations here in the living world. So I have to go back, not only to protect my home, protect you and our son. He understood as he regrettably opened the gateway back to the ghost zone, said his goodbyes, both to his beloved as well as their son, and walked through with the Fright Knight, as he states, do not worry, my queen. I will make sure he does not come to any harm. He looks at Pariah's back, stating, please do, as they went through the portal and it closed. Licita didn't give up Asta like in canon due to the fact that he's half ghost, meaning he didn't really have normal life energy that would be drained from him, nor did he have magic. He was safe, and she knew that. Although appearance-wise he looked more like Asta looked more like his mom, he had a lot of his father's power in him. As time went on, he was able to learn how to use more of his power at the age of 4, which is around the time when Licita finds a young devil child, bringing him home, injured and such, showing Asta this the little devil child who is laying down on the bed as she bandaged him up. Afterwards, he wakes up, which they do introduce themselves after showing uh her, showing the little devil child what she can do. When a snake comes around, he then looks at the boy grasping at her leg, hiding behind her. He asks, then what about him? She smiles and states, this is my son, Asta. And to be fair, he's a half-breed, without magic, like you, though still powerful. As his eyes glow red and he transforms, showing off his form. Green hair, a headband with horns on it, as well as some small armor with a cape. He smirks, stating he's half ghost. Surprising the little devil child, he asks, how is that possible? He just smirks, stating, there's more things possible than you might think. He tells him that he doesn't have to be afraid. He's welcome here. And that he could be part of their family. Even giving him the name Liebe. He accepts, and is given some proper clothes, as they do have fun, and Asta now has an older brother, well, an older foster brother, as Liebe is having a good time with his new family, though eventually things went bad when a demon tried to take over Liebe's body. Licita grabbed onto Liebe, trying to force the devil taking over Liebe's body out and force it out. She is successful, but unfortunately the devil strikes back at her, piercing her chest, killing her. Knowing that Liebe remaining out like this would be dangerous, not just for him, but for his younger foster brother Asta, he sealed him away inside the five-leaf clover grimoire and tells Asta to keep his brother safe. He's unable to do anything. He just cries while holding on to the grimoire, unable to do anything for his mom. After a while, he gets her back home, begins to dig a grave, as he buries his mom, putting the grimoire into a backpack that he keeps on him from now on. Thinks that he has to go somewhere. It might not be safe here anymore, especially if that thing finds a way to get back here without going to Libe to do it. It was no longer safe at his home. One of the things he packed was a magic photo or a magic picture of his mom, him, and a man who seemed to be his dad. He was told about him, but he doesn't remember ever meeting him. He was too young as he left. As for Licita, due to the fact that she actually gave birth to a half-ghost, ecto energy was already within her body, coursing through her, but not enough to make her a half-ghost. She died. The ecto energy within her soul, connected to it, led her to the ghost zone. Eventually, Pariah learned about this, sending the Fright Knight to go find his wife, as he ordered two individuals to come to him at once. Furious as well as worried, two individuals came. One was a small dog with a spiked collar, Cujo, a ghost dog, as well as a werewolf-looking ghost with large sharp claws, known as Wolf, with a U instead of an O. Asking what does he need, tells them. He uses them as somewhat tracking dogs. Cujo is just a dog, well, the ghost of a dead dog, but is quite loyal and well trained, as Wolf can understand human speech, and due to the Pariah serving under him, has learned the common tongue as well as still holding his normal tongue like we've seen in Danny Phantom, him speaking both. So yeah, as he orders them to find his son and watch over him. He knew he can bring them, he knew he couldn't bring his son to the ghost zone. He hasn't captured all the rampaging entities yet, but he could at least send somebody to make sure he's safe, to watch over and help raise him. Asta continues to walk, trying to find some place to live, but becomes quite tired. Passing out near Oz village, he's found by a man, picks him up and brings him into the church. When he wakes up, he's met with some kids, one of which has black hair and a blue and gold pendant. As the old man who found him introduces him as the father who runs this orphanage, and asks, where is he from? He just looks away as he asks, where are your parents? He states, my mom died. With a depressed look on his face, the father didn't ask anything else, and offered Asta to live with them. He looked up at them, asking, why would you do that? He states, I, well, we're an orphanage. We take in those children who, let's just say, have ended up with bad luck. As he extends his hand, he states, but even if we don't have any blood connecting us as a family, that doesn't mean we aren't. So, do you want to become part of our family? Asta extends his hand and says, okay, as he gets fed and a place to sleep. The bag right next to him, he opens it up slightly as he strokes the cover of the grimoire, stating in his mind, worry, find a way to get you out and hopefully keep you safe from that monster. As he falls asleep. The next morning, he goes over to the demon skull looking around. When he then senses something as his breath gets cold, he looks over and sees a large green dog looking over him. Thinks he might be in some trouble, but is then licked by the dog as it looks like it's smiling and happy to see Asta. As another canine-looking entity wearing a hood pats the large dog to cause him to go back and shrink into a small puppy as Wolf takes off his hood and introduces himself, stating that his father sent us to watch over you. He then yells, asking if he cared that much why. Why wasn't he there when Mom died, when she was killed? Wolf understood, as he sat Asta down and told him what he was doing, why he wasn't there for the majority of his life. Things in the ghost zone only got a slightly better. After all, capturing highly dangerous entities was not the easiest task to find. Also, they have to find them first and then subdue them, which isn't easy either. He did this because they kept running amok in the ghost zone, causing chaos and harm. The side effects would cause damage to this world where your mother and you live. He asked, so are you bringing me to him? Wolf said no. Due to the state of the ghost zone, if you were brought there to Pariah, you could be used as something to use against your father. He is the Ghost King after all. He remembered that from what his mom told him. As he's worried, asking what now. Wolf states, "We will train you to use your powers best of our abilities while watching and guarding over you. We will try our best not to interfere with your life here. But your father thought long ago that it might be best for you to live a life the world your mother was born into, as he was. He was human. Although your father was a ghost, you should know how to live as a human first, or anything else." As time went on, we get to the part where is attacked by the drunkard, tries to take his pendant to use to sell for more booze. As Asta comes in, attacking the guy, with him punching Asta, he gets mad and instinctively transforms, blasting the guy in the shoulder. It burns him, but it wasn't enough power to cause any serious harm, as he runs away. But asking, what is this? Is this your magic? Asta grabs his pendant and gives it to him, as he just states, "This is me." As he walks, back to the church, he explains a little bit, since he's taken quite a liking to and they make their promise that one of them will become the Wizard King. He then asks his wolf, "Cujo, you can come out." Then revealing themselves, coming up from the ground. Is scared, but Asta reassures them that they're fine, with little Cujo jumping into his arms and licking Asta, also showing little Cujo, as he then licks Asta explains some things about who he is to but keeps some things to himself, like the fact that he's actually the Ghost Zone Prince, and some other things. After all, he didn't want to melt his, brain, but he asked to keep it secret. Agreed. So yeah, as time went on, and we see that, Asta is about 12, and during this time, he finds out that he can use ice powers, blasting something during training, causing it to freeze. Wolf took a look at this, tapping it with his claws, thinking, "Cryokinesis. Quite, this is quite good." Asta asked, "What did I just do?" Wolf looked at him and states, "You have taken a new step, strength. But I have no idea how to train you for this. There is someone who your father trusts that we could possibly go to for training, but would have to hurry, would have to do it somewhere quick, as well as go to the ghost zone." Asta is surprised. Never been to the ghost zone itself, so he's a little nervous. With Wolf patting his head, stating, "It is fine. Do not need to worry. I will be with you the entire time. When we will see, I'll help you. It will be somewhat of a crash course. Won't take long. You might just need to take a couple of trips there and back, the train." As night fell and everyone in the church went to sleep, Asta snuck out, phasing through the wall, meeting up with Wolf and Cujo, deciding to open the portal there. As Wolf extended his claws, he completely ripped open gateway into the ghost zone as they all leapt in. Asta was quite disoriented, given how the ghost zone seems, as Wolf helped him, telling him that he has to focus and make sure he flies properly. He does do this. With him in his transformed state, he feels somewhat at home in this place, even though he's never been here. Wolf states that it's natural. You're half ghost, and this is the ghost zone. Of course, it would feel natural to live here. But unlike normal ghosts, your power can continue to grow whether you're in the ghost zone or not. As they go to the frozen, completely iced over sanctuary, where they meet some kind of creature that looks like a yeti, with one of its arms seeming to be made out of ice that is completely surrounding a skeletal arm. Introduces himself as Frostbite as he hugs Asta, squeezing them kinda tight. With him laughing, he brings him into a cave to get something to drink and eat. With Wolf telling him the situation, Frostbite understands. As they begin his training, he begins to learn how to use it properly and safely, knowing how to turn it off and on, though he doesn't actually freeze somebody by accident, using blasts from both his hands, his eyes, as well as launching icicles and such. Though a few people watching might have gotten frozen a little bit and or pricked by some of the ice arms. As their trips continued back and forth, he was able to control it, thanking Frostbite as he kneeled down to Asta, patting his head, stating, "Don't worry, and don't worry about anything else, okay? No one will know that you came here. Well, perhaps instead of your father, but that's a given. They'll be glad to hear that you've grown strong." Asta has an odd look on his face, not knowing how to feel about who his dad is. Never met him, but he went away because if he didn't, it could cause so much more problems. As they began to fly to a safe place for Wolf to open up a portal, Wolf and Cujo froze as Asta looked back, seeing that they aren't moving, trying to get their attention, but nothing. As he hears a voice stating, "Sorry, but they're frozen at the time being. I wanted to talk to you." As he looks behind him, seeing a man, a ghost, that has a clock in his chest, a robe, a staff with a clock on top of it, as well as seeming to shift his age from an adult to a child to an elderly man. Wasn't sure what to think about him, as he introduced himself as Clockwork, and that he wished to talk to him about something. He was nervous but asked, "What?" He smirked, stating, "Many things are going to happen once you become a bit older. 12 right now, but many dangerous things you will have to encounter once you become of age. So, I should give you a heads up, as well as tell you a little something that most people, well, not anybody but me probably knows." As he asked, "Wait, you're Clockwork, right? The guy that was told who knows my dad?" He smirked, stating, "Yes, I am. And you're Asta Dark." as he then states, "But I'm not here about your father. I'm here about you. You need to know, as well as something that you should also be aware of that might help you." He's nervous, and as he listens, he states that there is a great darkness coming to the living world. It isn't stopped, and if it destroys the living world, the ghost zone will also be destroyed. As your father is trying to protect the ghost zone to keep the living world from being destroyed, so too must you protect the living world, keep it from being destroyed. I know it's a lot to put on you, even at your young age. This is too much for you right now, but I know you have a strong will, and it will only get stronger. As he places his hand on his shoulder, stating, "And I will give you information in case something happens. You can use it as a last resort, get some backup." He hears out Clockwork as he states, "There is a way to artificially create a half-ghost. All that is required to pour large amounts of ecto-energy into the living person. Doing so will cause them to be fused with ecto-energy, causing them to be an artificial half-ghost. So, whether you use that knowledge or not, it's up to you. I can only give you hints as well as hopefully point you in the right direction. That being said, I wish you the best of luck. And please, stay brave." As he disappears, Wolf and Cujo revert back to normal, as they ask, "What is Asta waiting for?" Wolf states, we need to get going." As he follows them, once they get back, he thinks for a moment and is determined. He has been training day in and day out, getting stronger and stronger, both physically as well as with his powers, even to the point to where he has created energy swords from his ecto energy. As for what his energy looks like, it's the same color as his father, red ecto energy blasts. Though now with the cryokinesis, he can produce blue energy to freeze things, as well as focus the ecto energy he uses for blasts to create weapons and such. Though his training has gotten quite well. So, yeah, as time went on, he learned a couple of things, as well as some things he might possibly be able to do in the future. One of which was to cut open a portal to the ghost zone by himself, which surprised him, but also made him ecstatic, not being able to properly contain his excitement, to, to be so excited to not want to wait for that time. He has trained quite a bit, getting as strong as possible, especially after what Clockwork told him, that there is some kind of coming darkness that destroyed the world. Though he can only think of one thing, the same thing that took his mother from him. As we do switch over to the ghost zone, Asta is still 12, but enough time has passed where we see Licita has absorbed enough ecto energy to take a physical form and has been led to Pariah by the Fright Knight. They embrace each other as he asked about Asta, he states that he's fine. He's living at the church in the Clover Kingdom in Hodge Village, and he sent two of his subordinates in order to watch over him and train. Will be strong. He is strong, but he has to remain in the living world for now. He doesn't necessarily like being away from their child, but she understands that it has to be this way, at least for now. As she says, I'm sure we'll be able to meet again. After all, he's our son. I bet he'll be too stubborn to really lose to anybody. As he smiles, stating, yes, I'm sure. Back at with Asta, as he got older, Wolf gave him a final lesson about the ghost zone, stating that once you return to the ghost zone, if you choose to live there or at least make a home for yourself to go there occasionally, you could create a sanctuary. Any ghost with with intelligence and power can create a sanctuary, similar to the Frozen that you met, though depending on whether or not other ghosts live there with you or not, and determine the size, but you will essentially create the base as he states the sanctuaries are the islands that float inside the ghost zone. He does get excited, but thinks that he should probably wait. He's not even sure if he would want to stay in the ghost zone yet or not. Doesn't know much about what it'd be like to live there, but he's met good people there too, like Frostbite and his people, the wolf, Cujo, as well as some people who seem kind of strange and cryptic, like Clockwork. But he could tell that Clockwork was trustworthy, even if his warnings and advice were cryptic. So he keeps growing till he gets to the age of about 15, I believe, is the age, which is when the anime begins. So this was part 0 of What If Asta Was Half Ghost. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell to set it on all so that you're properly notified. And remember, a good bit of you aren't actually subscribed, so please do subscribe and support the channel. And also, Happy New Year. All that said, hope to see you next time, and later.